And so it's Aston Villa who get this game underway in their traditional claret and blue. Leicester in all blue and already attacking down that far side, giving Villa some defending to do. Early ball into the penalty area, which is dealt with by Sabrina D'Angelo and then hooked upfield. And Leicester now find themselves having to defend. So a bright start inside the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's a really positive start from Leicester. Again, like we said before the game, we'll try and take the game to the opposition. I think it was Hannah Kane out on that left-hand side with a delivery in. Obviously, Sabrina D'Angelo was equal to it at that time, but it's a positive start for the Foxes.
Ball now in the possession of Missy Beaucairns. And then back via D'Angelo to Ossienne Delonde, Villa's French defender. Joined on a free transfer after leaving Montpellier in the summer. Leicester losing out. Salmon gets the return ball. Will she get a chance to shoot? In the end, the presence of Asmita Ale didn't give her a clear sight of goal.
She does well here, Ale, just to read the press, read the game, because Ebony Salmon was through on goal. I think Ale just does enough to put her off in that instance.
Corresponding fixture last season, I don't want to tempt fate, ended in a 0-0 draw. Both teams were left waiting for their first wins of the season. At least they've got those monkeys off their back in this campaign. Leicester were 3-0 winners at home in the return fixture back in February of this year. Janice Kamen getting 2 of the goals in that match, as Villa carefully work their way out of defence with Delonde. Leicester doing a good pressing job at the moment.
Yeah, you can see already in Leicester's press just exactly what they're trying to do from the off. They're trying to stop it coming out onto this right-hand side for Lynn Films, especially a player who likes to get up and get high and join in the play.
Villa looking to try and exploit that right flank with Sarah Mayling back in the team today. In the end, Julie Thibault wins the goal kick.
Yeah, we've seen a bit of a switch as well in terms of Janice Kamen, who we talked about at the start of the game. And she's come back actually into the centre of defence here.
Natalia Arroyo played for Barcelona and Espanyol, but was forced to retire at the tender age of 22. She's been a coach for the last 11 years, and she's still only 39, but she's carving her way in the WSL. 9 months now since she took over.
Yeah, she's done well since she's come in, hasn't she? She's brought obviously that kind of win mentality to the team and that little bit of edge. I think when she did come in, it was a very unsettled ship. They were battling relegation a little bit, Aston Villa, but you know, she instilled that mentality into them. They are obviously good enough, and you can see that with the way they're expressing themselves and playing on the pitch at times.
Ball is back with Delonde, under pressure from Shannon O'Brien, who knows Villa all too well, having had her formative years here. That's a good ball over the top, looking for the run, and Leicester's defence completely caught out. There'll be a second attempt here. Maltby, Daly, missed kicks, and really Aston Villa didn't take full advantage of a very flat Leicester defence.
No, they didn't. They obviously capitalised really early. They saw the long ball, Aston Villa. I think it's what we've just talked about originally, that they, you know, they would like to go direct, and they did that in that instance. And Leipzig a little bit unsure in goal whether she was going to come off her line. Again, we see it here, Ebony Salmon with the really direct ball into Grant, playing in behind the back four. And Leipzig is equal to it, but again, a little bit uncertainty in that back line. Leicester do well to recover.
Lovely weighted ball over the top for Chastity Grant, who had time to bring it down and will have felt that she should have done a little better. That said, Villa do have this free kick. Almost 5 minutes played at Villa Park. It's going to be taken by Lynn Willems, another Dutch woman, and it's fairly fiercely struck shot, which bounces in front of Janina Leitzig.
Yeah, she didn't do enough on that occasion with the free kick, Wilms, in my opinion. I think last week we saw her score a free kick at range, and it was a fantastic free kick that she struck. I think this time it was straight into the arms of Janina Leitzig, over the wall, but doesn't do enough to cause the keeper enough trouble.
Yeah, both of Villa's goals last week were very impressive. Wilms with the free kick and Kirsty Hansen with a really fierce rising effort from an angle which found its way into the far corner of the West Ham net.
Yeah, I'm really interested that 3 out of the 4 goals that Villa have scored this season have come from set pieces as well. So, you know, they can be really dominant in that area.
No foul, and that's neat footwork to get Leicester upfield. Although the pass was asking rather too much of Emily van Egmond. Rick Passmore appointed on a permanent basis during the week on a 3-year contract, having initially taken charge on an interim basis. And you know Rick Passmore well.
Yeah, I've played under Rick at my time at Notts County, so played under him for 2 seasons. He's a manager that will demand hard work. He'll demand effort from his team and work ethic, but also, you know, once that is done and kind of being assured and instilled into the team, it's about how you get the ball down and play and take the games to the opposition. So I think having him come into the side will just add that little bit of stability that they've needed over the last couple of seasons, especially, like you said before, with the 4 managers over the last couple of seasons. I think it's about time they got someone in long term.
Yes, it's been a bit tumultuous in many respects for Leicester, more so than Villa, who've had changes of their own. But the fact that they've given him a 3-year contract suggests they want to settle the ship. And you feel he's the ideal man to do it. Trying to get out of their own half here without much success, Leicester. Heather Payne, one of the 2 players coming back into the team today, joining from your former club, Everton, back in August.
Yeah, she's someone who will add that kind of attacking element to the Leicester side. I think she's fantastic in possession, but also out of possession and defensively minded. She can, again, just add that stability to Leicester's back line.
Leicester having a little success down this near side. Here is Payne taking on Delonde and winning the corner kick.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what Leicester have been missing in previous seasons, someone who can obviously do that kind of up and down. They had it with CJ Bott a couple of years ago, but I think now they've got that in Heather Payne. And he said you've seen it there as a fine example, winning them a corner.
The corner will be taken relatively short and then delivered into the heart of the Aston Villa 6-yard area. Delonde scrambling to get it away and fouled in the process.
Looks like a corner direct from the training ground, that one. It's something that Rick takes pride in, Rick Passmore, in terms of that set piece speciality and really working on that in and around training sessions. We used to do a lot of that after training and spend a lot of time working on set pieces, so I imagine we'll see quite a bit of variability from those set pieces today.
He was making a point of it prior to kick-off that he wanted to instill a philosophy, and as you say, having had experience of playing under him, he will indeed do that. Leitzig opting to go long under pressure. Aston Villa began this game just slightly ahead of Leicester in the WSL table. But at the moment, a couple of wins can put you in a good position And as we've seen already, Tottenham, who had a very disappointing season last season, have put themselves in the top 3 in the last week or so, although they've got a real challenge on today away at Chelsea in a London derby. 10 minutes played. No goals here, no goals anywhere in the WSL. 3 other games kicking off at midday. O'Brien. And now Maltby for Villa. Forward it goes to Salmon. Got away from Cayman. Might even get a second chance as it bobbles away from Leipzig. And for the second time in this game, Villa causing Leicester problems.
Yeah, again, we saw exactly what they were trying to do. It's very similar to that early chance that they had in the game where they're trying to catch Leicester's back line off guard with that early ball into the channel. Again, we see Salmon causing all sorts of problems, using a pace, and Janina Leipzig is equal to it there. A little bit of a mix-up, but, you know, she'll feel, I think, in that instance that, again, she should have done better.
Once more, Villa looking to work it down this near side. It's where they're having their success so far. Cairns. Grant wanted it played into that pocket of space, and she gets it in an onside position. Laid off nicely. Villa really threatening here. Salmon with no room for a shot. And the referee decides to bring play to a halt because the ball struck her. And we will have a drop ball.
Interesting again what can happen when Lynn Films is on the ball down that right-hand side. She just gets involved in the play, and you can see the danger she can cause when she is allowed to do that, which Leicester have been trying to evade in the first, obviously, 10 minutes of the game. See, Leicester at times when they do try to play out, they are trying to go over the top of Villa's press. But if they're doing that, they have to do that like with quality. At times, they're playing straight back into Villa's hands.
Daly dropping slightly deeper to try and get possession, but it's won back by Leicester City, who try to spring an attack quickly. The pass doesn't quite reach its target. Hannah Kane.
Yeah, I think in that instance it's the right idea from Santini, trying to hit the space and hit the channel, but obviously just doesn't come off on that occasion. But Santini is a player that will do that. She's got a goal and an assist in the last 2 games that she's played in WSL, and I think she's really pivotal in that midfield. If they can get her on the ball in this game, they can cause Villa's backline problems.
Tierney in her 6th season at Leicester. Salmon. A little bit too close to Leipzig, but again, it's a threat from Villa.
It is, yeah, you see them down this right-hand side. Daly links up really well with Grant, and again, they're looking for that run of Ebony Salmon in behind the Leicester back line. It's again another common theme of what they're trying to do.
Daly was motioning there. She wanted the ball cut back in towards the penalty spot where she was in space. But you suspect that if they continue this way, they will eventually have some fortune.
Yeah, and as you say, if they're continually looking for that ball over the top to create that space, there then will be that pocket of space in between the midfield at the back line, so the cutback potentially will be on.
That said, they're having to defend here. Payne getting the ball stuck under her feet, but she still comes away with it. Ale looking towards Kane in the middle. Tierney only succeeds in giving it straight to Daly. And Villa charging forward in numbers, and the pass almost making its way through to Chastity Grant. Well, we're only 15 or so minutes in, and then the game is swinging quite quickly from left to right and back again.
Yeah, you'll just find that as the game gets that little bit more transitional, the spaces will then open up, which obviously will probably more so feed into Aston Villa's favour, because that's what they want to do. They want to find those spaces and use the pace they've got. You can see Aston Villa already dominating possession with that, you know, that 60% that we see up there. But it's more importantly for me is what they do with the possession that they have got. And, you know, if they can be direct and that's what's working for them, then, you know, potentially they're going to continue to do that.
Daly does offer them something extra when she does drop back into those pockets of space as well. And because they've got pace in Grant and Salmon, she's able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what potentially that pace of them allows them to create that space for Daly then to just get on the ball and be a little bit of a playmaker in there.
This is Rachel Daly's 4th season with Villa. She spent almost 10 years in the United States. Now 33 years of age.
We spoke a lot about Villa going forward in attack, but I think defensively, when they are put into obviously defensive shape, they look organised. Out of possession as well. I think Leicester are finding it really difficult to break through, especially those midfield lines.
Daly looking to get on the end of that long ball. We're still yet to have a goal in any of the midday kickoffs in the WSL. But you just feel like Villa, if they carry on the way they are, they will get closer and closer.
And that's a time where it's not on for Aston Villa to play that long ball. Leicester are set, they're in good defensive shape, there's no space in behind the back line. That's the time when Anna Patten needs to get on the ball, look to play to feet and through the thirds.
Well won back by Aston Villa, in particular Lucia Kendall. It's a good spell for Aston Villa. Leicester struggling to have any time on the ball at the moment. Delonde. That's a good idea, which Maltby almost gets on the end of. Good intention from Cairns, who then keeps it alive, finding Daly and then gets the return. Missy Bo Cairns. Got support outside of her from Salmon. Really applying the pressure here on Leicester.
Yeah, it was good defending initially out on this right-hand side by Sari Keys. And again, it's just what Leicester can do when they do find themselves in possession, keeping hold of the ball.
Hale gets the pass back from her own throw-in. D'Angelo. This is the 9th time that these two clubs have met in the WSL. Villa have by far the better record, having won 5 of the previous 8 to Leicester's 1 win. But Leicester are unbeaten in the last 3 meetings.
Yeah, I think they've started off the season quite well, Leicester, in terms of the way they are playing within their games as well. Obviously, it was a tight game, 1-0 loss to Chelsea. And I think they felt they were unlucky to come away with a loss against Tottenham as well. But what they did do when they played Everton last week is they came from behind to get a point in the game, which is, for them, you know, they hear them speak about their fighting and their mentality, that they can do that and come back from games which maybe in previous seasons we haven't seen them do as much.
Opting for the long ball again, Leicester. Clearance falls at the feet of Hannah Kane, taking on Mailing. Tierney switches it to Payne. This is a good passage of play from Leicester. Payne getting round the back, and Villa finding themselves under pressure as Emily van Egmond was in a good position.
Yeah, it was a good build-up in there from Leicester. Obviously, O'Brien kind of starting the play here, and she does really well just to slide it into the path of Heather Payne. Pulls it back, and you can see the frustration on the Aston Villa defence that was allowed to occur. And now they've won themselves a corner.
Short to Tierney, delivered in. Decent delivery as well.
Yeah, it was almost like Julie Thibaud couldn't quite get the direction on the header there as the ball comes in. It was really good delivery from Sam Tierney, actually. Just couldn't quite direct it to underneath the bar.
Villa at pace, coming forward through Lynn Vilms. We do have a goal. Elsewhere, Everton have taken the lead against Manchester United. Hayashi with the goal after 16 minutes. You'll be happy with that.
Interesting scoreline, yeah, considering what's obviously we've seen from Everton so far this season. They've been really struggling to impose themselves in scoring games. So for the fact that they've gone 1-0 up, it's a good start from them.
That game's being played at the new stadium, Hill Dickinson Stadium in Liverpool. The only goal so far in the 4 12 o'clock kickoffs. The other games, Chelsea against Spurs and London City Lionesses against West Ham. So 2 London derbies today, as we reach the midway point of the first half. Villa have had the better chances in front of goal. Leicester have threatened once or twice. Salmon.
Yeah, as you say, I think Villa have had the better of the chances for sure. Leicester not really troubled D'Angelo in goal, but I think they set up quite organised, Leicester, to evade kind of that press. It's just when it ends up getting in behind for them that they're lacking a little bit of pace at the back.
And that's backed up by the fact that Villa have had 4 shots on target to Leicester's 0 so far.
Yeah, and there's probably 2 of those Aston Villa chances that they should have done better with those chances for sure. Probably 2 really clear-cut ones.
Kane dropping into central midfield to pick that up. But Villa doing a good job of just squeezing Leicester back. And again, like you mentioned earlier on, the long ball is breaking down, isn't it, for Leicester?
It is. It's just kind of... It's lacking that little bit of creativity in midfield for me as well. They're struggling to play through the middle, so they're kind of having to try and go over the top, but it's not really finding anyone kind of in a dangerous position or finding them in space, whereas you see it on the opposite end. This is what Villa are trying to do, and when they do that, they look to do it with a little bit more purpose.
No Yuta Rantala or Noemi Mouchon in the starting 11, both of those players on the bench. Both of those players suffering with serious injury in the last year or so. Mouchon, who scored the goal last week to earn Leicester the draw against Everton, missed almost the entirety of last season, but they are coming forward here, and Kane stretching, trying to get to the ball. Leicester will come again. Payne, that's a really good delivery from Heather Payne, and somehow it's found its way into Villa's right-back position. But there's a certain amount of determination here on the part of Leicester to make something of this. Thibault in the end, it comes off her and out for a Villa goal kick.
Good little spell of play there from Leicester City. Starts out with, on this left-hand side with Hannah Kane. Finds herself in a fantastic bit of space. Cuts it across the box, but I think it's Shannon O'Brien who's just sliding in, can't quite get on the end of it. But positive signs there from Leicester. When they do get into that final third, they can be dangerous.
Sabrina D'Angelo, the Canadian international, just waiting while we have a cut knee for Julie Thibault. It's not going to keep her from playing, it just needs to be patched up. So Leicester momentarily down to 10.
When you were talking before, though, about Leicester's bench in terms of Mouchon and Rantala as well, I think it just shows kind of for Leicester this season, they've actually got a bit of strength and depth on the bench as well, which again, in previous seasons, maybe they would have looked to the bench and struggled to kind of bring players on that are going to make an impact, but you saw Mouchon do that the week before, so they've got great potential there as well.
Grant plays it infield. Villa looking threatening here. Here's Salmon. Daly's there, but Leipzig got enough on it just to take it out of her path and avoid Villa taking the lead.
Yeah, you see Aston Villa picking the ball up again down this right-hand side, linking up really well. Salmon does well to get the ball across, and Leipzig does so well just to get an outstretched arm, just to take it away from Rachel Daly. You see it again here, she's really alert in her box, and then second balls from Leicester to clear the danger.
Danger yet to be averted, though, as Villa come again. Delivered deep towards Maltby, back in by Delonde, and that will be fairly routine for Janina Leipzig in the end.
Yeah, she's a real presence in the Leicester goal, Janina Leipzig. We've seen what she's come in over the last couple of seasons and done, and assured things up a little bit at the back, and it makes such a difference when you're a back line, you're a defender, and you've got a goalkeeper behind you if you've got confidence in. It just allows you to play with a little bit more freedom and momentum going forward.
Yes, they did well to replace Lise Kopp, who moved on to Tottenham in the winter transfer window. How will she be feeling? Not happy that they haven't scored, but satisfied with the way in which they're playing?
Yeah, I think so at times. I think she'll be wanting them to play with a little bit more intent and a little bit more intensity when they do have the ball, but I think that's partly due to the way that Leicester have set up in their defensive shape and frustrated them at times a little bit, especially when they do get it out onto this right-hand side where they're so used to getting more joy. Leicester are potentially equal to it a lot of the time, so I think she'll be partly happy, but yeah, as you say, frustrated in the fact that they haven't put their chances away.
Nicely worked by Daly, out to the far side. Cairns looking to return the compliment. Tierney improvises. Delonde to Maltby. Gets away from Payne and can look up and deliver it in. Here's Salmon. Bodies in the way for Leicester.
Well, you just feel like Leicester are holding on a little bit here from that Aston Villa pressure. Maltby out on this left-hand side does really, really well to skip past Heather Payne and get the delivery into the box. But again, Leicester equal to it, but the pressure is just a mountain from Aston Villa.
You do sense that they might be close to a breakthrough. Daly, Patton is the furthest forward. It's certainly a confident approach when your centre-back is the player furthest forward, but it means that she's out of position now as Leicester are 3-on-3. Pass is read by Cairns.
Yeah, Leicester didn't do enough there, in my opinion, to capitalise on what you're saying. Anna Patton being out of position and being so far forward. Hannah Kane kind of comes away and uses the pace. Here we see it again. Obviously, Rachel Mulby doing really, really well. She looks up, tries to pick her pass, looking for Chastity Grant. Again, Salmon does well with the shot, but Janice Kamen in defence doing really well, and then Leicester managed to clear on that occasion.
Half an hour played at Villa Park. And still only one goal in the midday kickoffs. Honoka Hayashi for Everton at home to Manchester United. Tierney. Keys switching it towards the left. Now Tierney. There's space out here for Payne. Early ball might be needed. It's a decent delivery just behind Kane. Tierney lets the ball run across her body. Villa, though, pick it off again.
Yeah, Tierney did really well in the centre of Park there, kind of just showing what she can do when she gets that space to face up and to play forward. She'll play the passes through the lines, which will cause the Villa midfield and defence problems, especially out on this right-hand side, trying to link up with Heather Payne.
Here is Payne. Both teams working extremely hard to win possession. Villa almost set Salmon away. It's being played at a fairly fast pace, this match.
Yeah, as we said before, it's kind of, you know, it was very end-to-end in terms of those transitions, but it's about that quality really going forward. Probably the right idea in there from Janice Kamen, but he couldn't quite find the feet of Hannah Kane, who's, you know, not lacking in energy and not lacking in effort and endeavour to get on the ball, but it's not kind of fell to her just yet.
Payne, who's seen a lot of the ball on this near side. Back to her captain, and now it's at the feet of Sari Keys.
That's what we're talking about, just going forward. When they do have the ball, Leicester, it's can you be a little bit tidier in possession, look after the ball, find your attacking players with a little bit more quality.
Grant unable to find a teammate. Villa finished 6th in the WSL last season, 3 points behind 5th place Brighton. So, on the basis of that, this might be seen as a slightly disappointing start to the campaign.
Potentially, but I think in terms of the way Villa have played over the course of the last couple of games, the way they've started the season.
Here come Leicester, opening up Villa again from that right side, getting to the dead ball line. And now Villa, who can be dangerous on the counter with Missy Cairns releasing Salmon. Can she make something of it this time? Leipzig ahead of her, and almost a carbon copy of the chance she had earlier on in the game. Springing the Leicester defence, running into the same position and shooting the same way.
Literally a carbon copy. I think it's Missy Cairns who does so well to spot the space, spot the pass to find Salmon in acres of space. And again, she's driving at Janina Leipzig, and Leipzig does well to make herself big. But I think again she'll be disappointed that she hasn't put the ball in the back of the net there.
A little over 10 minutes left of the first half at Villa Park, and that long ball comes to nothing.
Yeah, again, we see it here. You know, we talk about how dangerous Aston Villa can be on the counter, and then Missy Bocairns finds that excellent pass, cuts the back line, and Ebony Salmon, she drives at pace, but takes it probably far too close to Yanina Leitzig. She's come in, she's made herself big. Can you go over the top of the keeper? Can you go around the side of the keeper? But again, it's directly at her, and she makes it an easy save in the end.
Leicester sitting off as Kendall plays it forward. Films. Ball is behind Grant.
Yeah, that was the one time there, actually, well, not the one time, but one of the times there where Aston Villa have managed to find Kendall in midfield, and she's got acres of space to try and play forward and play that, and I think potentially a little bit more of that from Aston Villa as the gaps, you can see the gaps between the units are starting to open up a little bit more now. Probably because Leicester's back line are slightly more fearful now of the ball going over the top and in behind it. You naturally drop a little bit as a back line, even if you don't intend to.
Patton looking further downfield. There's a run on from Daly, but she's had to check due to being in an offside position. Films trying to find Daly. Initially good intervention by Thibault, but as soon as she got the ball, she's lost it again.
Yeah, exactly. I think the pace of the game is just, it went from being quite frantic to now slowing down a little bit. You can see the difference for me is when you kind of have to switch that intensity back on, and Aston Villa can do that when needed. But Leicester not quite finding the momentum and finding the way they want to play just yet.
Delonde to Cairns. Maltby taking on Payne. Patient ball retention from Aston Villa. Delonde. This time it's early and it's towards Daly. Glance the header, comes back in, but there's nobody attacking the ball in the 6-yard area. Had they done so, Villa would have been in front. Here they might have another chance. Salmon winning that duel, and again has made it relatively easy for Leitzig.
Yeah, I think that was a little wry smile maybe on the face of Salmon, because you can see the frustration creeping in now, because she knows again potentially she's got a fantastic opportunity. A little bit of uncertainty across the back line here for Leicester, and an opportunity to clear her lines, but Payne doesn't quite manage to do so. Comes back in here, and we see Ebony Salmon gets the better of the two defenders around her, but she makes it easy again for Leitzig in the Leicester goal.
We're into the final throws of the first half. Here's Chastity Grant. Back to Salmon. Daly will collect, and she looks towards goal. In Thierry Henry fashion, trying to hook that back in, claiming handball. Referee not interested.
Yeah, there's quite a few shouts for handball there, actually, and obviously the Leicester players kind of turning away and to say we didn't, but you can see a little bit of creativity here from Daly on the edge of the box, kind of trying to make something for herself, little flick up and then click it round the corner, but she's obviously won a corner. Didn't quite see whether in that instance it was handball, but she was convinced.
It does result in a Villa corner with a little over 5 minutes left of the first half. Well spread inside that penalty area. No congestion, as you often see these days. And again, it's short. The delivery is a teasing one. Away by Thibault. They'll come back in again from that far side. Salmon, lovely footwork. The referee has actually obliged Villa with a free kick.
Yeah, difficult to see what the free kick's being given for in that instance. Obviously, the corner's come out, and it's a carbon copy of the way they played last week and for Hansen's goal. But we get a closer look here. Yeah, it's just a pull back on the shirt of Ebony Salmon, and they've got a free kick in a dangerous area here.
Decent angle from which to put Leicester in an awkward position inside the 6-yard area. Films in discussion, Leipzig trying to organise. That looks as if it's going to be a Dutch woman trying to outwit a German woman in the Leicester goal. You wouldn't anticipate her going direct for goal, but there's a fair bit of space around Janina Leipzig. Instead, it's gone square. Grant got the shot, which was blocked. A few cries for handball from the crowd, but nothing from the players themselves. Villa applying the pressure as much as they possibly can as we approach the interval. Daly. And again, Patton shooting straight at Leipzig.
Yeah, I think Leicester will be happy that they've kind of managed to ride that spell a little bit. Again, they're limiting Villa to shots from outside the box. You see that they tried to go here for a little bit of a cut back into Grant, but Leicester defending well. I think they're defending well off set pieces and organising themselves in a way that they know they're going to suffer a little bit, but they're managing to ride that wave at times.
There are some statistics pretty contrasting when it comes to shots. Villa 11 with 6 of them on target. It shows that they haven't really tested Leipzig enough.
Yeah, I
and
think
they
I was
do
just
again.
about to say that as well in terms of Leicester not having many shots on goal, and then obviously the stats come up there in terms of, yeah, 1 shot to Villa's 11. So you can see who's obviously dominating the game. But as I say, Leicester are doing well to ride it out at the moment, and you know, still in a clean sheet position.
And they have once or twice put a couple of dangerous balls close to the Villa goal.
Yeah, they showed spells of what they can do and what they're capable of. It's just not being consistent for them.
Patton collects. Salmon spots the run. It's a good one as well from Mayling. Beyond Grant, but I think the flag has gone up for offside against Sarah Mayling. Excellent ball through, though. It
was a fantastic ball through, wasn't it? I think it's another get out of jail there for Leicester. I think it's Patton who's got the ball here, and Salmon just spots the run out on this right-hand side. But yeah, she's offside, isn't she?
With 90 seconds of the first 45 remaining, Rick Passmore will probably be, well, I wouldn't say the happy of the two coaches, but given that it's still 0-0, there might be a sense of relief.
Yeah, definitely. I think for Leicester now, they'll just be wanting to get in at half-time 0-0, and then to regroup and to go again and potentially discuss how they're going to start to break down this Aston Villa back line with a little bit more quality and finesse.
Delonde hurt there as she tumbles over her own goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's just as it comes in here, so he's trying to shepherd the ball away from O'Brien, and it looked to be a little bit of a nick on the back of the leg there from O'Brien as the follow through.
Delonde seems to be okay. Everything is well and good.
For Villa, you're just kind of hoping that you want to put a ball in the back of the net soon, because you don't want to rue your missed chances. Potentially, if Leicester come out, you know, if it stays this way, scoreline-wise, if Leicester come out fighting second half, and create opportunities. You don't want to be Villa looking back at the first half and thinking we had so many chances to bury that game.
Just the 1 minute of additional time.
1 minute added time, the minimum 1 minute added time.
I guess in many respects, Rick Passmore would have expected the game to play out a little bit like this anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I think for them, they would have liked to have had a little bit more quality on the ball going forward, but I think they knew they were going to suffer at times, especially when Aston Villa do things like this and they counter really quickly. But they've managed it really well, especially down this right-hand side with Heather Payne and Keys.
Again, though, they can't make the ball stick inside the Villa half. But they managed to see out the first period. We've had the extra minute. And referee Bergen blows up to bring an end to the first half, in which Rick Passmore's team Villa Park for the second half of Aston Villa Leicester. Rick Passmore has his cuppa, and his team get the second half underway in all blue, attacking the goal away to the left in this second period. Alongside myself, Mike Sewell, is Fern Whelan, former Everton, Notts County, Brighton and England defender. And you're not surprised that there have been no changes at the break?
Yeah, I think, you know, you look at it from both sides. So Leicester potentially be happy with a point or a clean sheet at this point, and I think Aston Villa know that they can create the chances. It's just about putting them in the back of the net. So yeah, not surprised there's been no changes, and both managers opting to keep the sides the same and see how the next 10-15 goes.
It's Leicester who are coming forward with Sam Tierney. Patton had to improvise and a player down inside the 6-yard area as Ale clears down the line. Looks to be Hannah Kane who's down.
It looks to be holding her face a little bit as well. You can see the outstretched arm there of the defender, just kind of connects with her. Hopefully it's nothing too dangerous.
Six weeks in the job, was appointed on an interim basis just before the season started. The surprise departure of Amandine Mikel 10 days before the WSL got underway unsettled Leicester, but his job now is to try and calm things. And even though they've had to withstand Villa's assaults on their goal, they have kept it stable so far. I don't think, and you may agree, that it'll be that long before we see Jutta Rantala or Noémie Mouchon introduced.
Yeah, potentially they just offer that attacking element and attacking threat that, you know, maybe Leicester have been missing, especially in that first half. You know, we saw what Mouchon can do when she came on last week and, you know, basically created a goal out of nothing for herself. So yes, she's coming back from ACL injury, but again, she showed what she can do. And I think, you know, the same with Rantala as well in terms of coming back from injury. They trying to find their feet, gain themselves minutes, but, you know, they could add a real spark to this game, which potentially, you know, Leicester have been missing, especially in that first half.
Hannah Kane seems to be okay. She's received treatment and she's relatively happy there, smiling away. So we will see a resumption in play very shortly as she has to head off to the touchline.
Yeah, I think what you were saying about, you know, the Rick Passmore coming in and kind of trying to steady the ship a little bit. And, you know, there's players in this team that have gone through a lot of change and a lot of change in managers, backroom staff over the last couple of years. And not only that, but changes on the pitch as well. So players like Sophie Howard, who's been here such a long time, and, you know, Mamiki, who came in last year, who's gone to Everton as well. So they're trying to deal with those changes as well. So, you know, it's a team that can adapt, this Leicester side. And I think we're seeing that this season.
Forward it goes. It's going to be collected by Tierney. Cairns back there to win it for Villa. A victory for either of these two today would be a huge fillip for them. And given the fact that two of the other three games taking place at the moment are still all square, a win might be hugely beneficial and get them into the top part of the table.
Yeah, definitely, and it just keeps that momentum going, doesn't it? Like you say, Everton obviously getting a point last week, and Villa getting the win last week as well. So both teams want to keep that momentum going, not only good performances on the pitch, but also the points on the board, which, you know, effectively is what matters at the end of the day.
Well, this week it's all about the WSL on Sunday. Next week, the League Cup takes centre stage as Van Egmond plays the pass behind Hannah Kane. Leicester get fortunate. Payne to Kane. In Villa's case, they are away to Bristol City in their group game. Leicester away to London City. And then they have a small matter of a match against Arsenal at home on the 2nd of November after the international break.
Yeah, I see ball coming here there. I think very fortunate there. You can see Grant's face as well, that the free kick's been given against her. She feels really aggrieved there that that's been given against her. Probably Leicester getting a little bit lucky in that instance.
Good position here for Leicester City. Sam Tierney looks to try and drop it over the Villa defence. They deal with it quite competently.
Yeah, it's relatively easy, that one, for Villa's defence there. It's obviously just pumped forward and into the mix, but no real kind of end product for Leicester again from that free kick.
Van Egmond, who we haven't seen a great deal of in this game, out wide on that far side. Returns the ball to Kane. Only succeeds in finding her opposite number, Lucia Kendall. Same starting 11s from the first half is the second. No changes made as yet by either head coach.
Yeah, I think a player potentially Aston Villa, you know, missing when they do go forward, say, is Kirsty Hansen, kind of being forced into that change today that maybe they wouldn't have liked to make Aston Villa, but potentially she may still be well enough to come off the bench.
This is promising for Leicester. Deep towards Kane, trying to nod it to Van Egmond. Comes to nothing in the end, though. Substitutes start to come into the mindset, and that's probably what the conversation is all about.
Yeah, potentially. You can see that obviously she'll be wanting to capitalise on the fact that they haven't, you know, scored that goal and started potentially a little bit slow in the second half. To me, it seems like Leicester have been the team that have started a bit more up for things. So, you know, they'll be looking to the bench and seeing who it is they can bring on to make that difference.
In terms of an attacking threat, you mentioned Kirsty Hansen. We've also got Georgia Mullet on the bench. The rest of those in the substitutes are either defensive or midfielders, in addition to a goalkeeper in the shape of Ellie Roebuck.
They're saying they've definitely got players on the pitch that can score goals, so it's about putting those chances away. As you say, Ebony Salmon, Grant, Rachel Daly, these are the type of players you would look to for goals. So ideally, when they do get in those positions, that's about when they can put the chances away.
Leicester have noticeably done a good job in the 8.5 minutes of this second half in keeping Villa primarily inside their own half, which we didn't see them do that much during the first period.
No, you see them creeping slightly higher. Say, you know, action areas says it all. They're 0% in Leicester's box, so you can see Leicester have started well. They're controlling things, especially now in the middle of the park as well, and they're keeping the units quite close together, which is condensing the space. So Aston Villa find it really difficult to play in.
Daly's pass is a touch long. They'll have to come again with Anna Patton, and the presence of Kane forces it back to D'Angelo. Maltby works herself into some space. But again, the pass is a little astray, forcing Villa to start again.
Yeah, force them to start again and allows Leicester to get back into that shape. But again, here and behind.
Here's Salmon, though. Showed too much of the ball.
I think that is the danger with Villa, though, isn't it? Even when they do look like they're playing slow, maybe laboured, lacking in quality, they have got this in their locker where they have that quality and they go with attack and finding Ebony Salmon, causing Leicester problems when they do make that, you know, that ball in behind.
One of the goal scorers so far this season, Ebony Salmon. Ball is on this near side with Mailing. Around the outside is Wilms, who scored last week. It's too close to Leipzig. And one fault of Villa's is that I mean, she has made one or two good saves, but they've made it relatively easy for Janina Leipzig.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. I think the saves she's made, you know, are probably routine saves for someone of her quality and stature. I think we just saw out on this right-hand side what Villa can do when they get Lynn Wilms higher up the pitch and into those areas to support the play, and maybe haven't done that enough in the game. But again, that potentially is down to the way Leicester have approached defensively and really trying to stop that and stop them playing out down the right.
High foot from Delon, just I don't know whether it's shock or it actually made contact with Shannon O'Brien, but she seems to be okay. And Leicester have a free kick. Similar position to the last free kick that Leicester had, and Tierney again behind it. Will there be a change of approach? No, it's pretty much the same. And again, Villa head it away. Only as far as Cayman. It's another foul, and well, if you were in American football, they'd be making some yardage here.
I was just thinking that potentially that's a tactic they're employing, because it doesn't look like it's to make first contact, because again, they're playing it into an area where there's a lot of bodies, but you know, whether they get themselves higher at the pitch and now they've got a free kick, and potentially a bit more of a dangerous area.
Again, probably too far out for a direct shot at goal. Deep discussion between Tierney and Kane. D'Angelo making sure she's organised in case they do have a pop at it. Certainly some space if they have some pace behind the free kick. It's a good 35 yards from goal. Kane, it's short and it's back to Hannah Kane, and it's found its way through. And again, it's Daly in this case who blocks the shot.
Yeah, you see Hannah Kane just step up and get it again for the return and the reverse, and Tierney gets the shot off, but Daly obviously gets the block in the way. But it's what we spoke about in the first half, isn't it? That little creativity from set pieces from them, and what we'd expect to see from Leicester. So I'm not surprised she didn't take the shot off there.
We're going to have a change for Aston Villa shortly. Before that, though, Leicester have this corner kick, and it's they who are applying the pressure since the break. Villa really struggling to get out of their own half. Kane. In it goes, and that's fairly straightforward for D'Angelo's immediately looking to release it. Didn't have any options.
Yeah, straightforward there for D'Angelo, as you say. Obviously, probably one of the first times she's really had to do anything in the Aston Villa goal. So Leicester probably be disappointed from that corner that they've not done more with Tierney and Kane to try and trouble the goalkeeper.
Cairns battling to win it for Villa. Sadly for her, it's gone out of play. And that will be the last bit of action that Rachel Maltby will see in this game, because she is the Villa player being replaced. Confirmation that she will depart, and Paula Tomas, in her second season at Villa, the Spaniard, will come on in her place. So straight swap in defence.
Please welcome number 3, Paula Thomas.
Yeah, I think at times in that first half, I think Rachel Maltby's done well out on that left-hand side. I think she can be happy with how she's played today. Obviously, bringing in Paula Thomas for a bit more fresh legs and potentially a bit more dynamism down on that left-hand side. But yeah, I think she can be happy with how she's done today.
You have to remember, she's still only 18 years of age. Rachel Maltby only signed as a professional in the spring, so still making her way in the game. As we hit the hour mark at Villa Park, and still we await a goal. Is there a goal out there today? We only have one goal across 4 games so far. Everton still leading at home to Manchester United.
I think that's a real positive there. I think it just shows how far the WSL has come and how difficult it is now. Teams are more organised. There's quality all across the league and all across the WSL. So, you know, we don't see those 7-0 score lines maybe that we're used to seeing years gone by. I think the games now are a lot tighter on the whole.
Yuta Rantala is preparing herself to come on. It was a substitution we anticipated would happen at some point. She's going to get about half an hour out there, and she does offer something extra for Leicester going forward.
Yeah, that's probably an indication that Leicester are thinking, you know, this game's not done and it's not completely away from us yet. We can get players on and obviously try and make a difference and get in the final third like they have done in the first 15 minutes of this game, or second half.
I think Villa will be kicking themselves that they didn't take full advantage in that first half, because they've allowed, in many respects, Leicester to stay in the game.
Yeah, definitely. We spoke about it in the first half, didn't we? That potentially might rue those missed chances if Leicester came out a different side in the second half, and that's what we've seen. That, you know, they come out organised like they were, but actually they've got a bit of a mentality that they want to, you know, take the game to Aston Villa and get right up in their final third. And now seeing someone like Rantala come on, we spoke about her a lot and what she adds, and potentially she adds goals as well to this team. So Villa are going to have to be really switched on, especially D'Angelo in the Aston Villa goal.
She made her first WSL start in 12 months last weekend, and she's come on in place of Emily Van Egmond.
Replace number 5, Emily Van Egmond. Will be number 8, Yata Rantala.
Like for like. Thibaut forward, Ale with the header on.
Yeah, Leicester doing well there just to shield the ball going into Kendall in this midfield. Again, they want to push them out wide. You can hear and you can see it. They want to be compact in the middle and, you know, narrow any opportunities that Villa are having to play and saying, you know, go round the outside of us because we are organised and compact centrally.
As Mita Ale, a long association with Aston Villa, having joined the club as an 8-year-old. She spent 12 years there. before heading to Tottenham. Now very much a Leicester City player and has played every minute of the WSL season so far.
Yeah, I think she obviously impressed when she came in on loan, and then obviously they've made that permanent. And yeah, you say she's an ever-present fixture in this Leicester side, and just will be hoping that she gets a little bit more service out here and can link up a little bit better with Rantala now she's on.
That's it. Here come Villa. Salmon, a bit like a hurdler, jumped that challenge.
Yeah, she's jumped the challenge, but it's almost like if she does get clipped, you're very close to your box in the penalty area there, so I'm not sure why she jumped over it.
Well, her name is Salmon. I mean,
see what we did there.
At least I didn't use the word leapt. Almost 20 minutes played in the second half. It's still goalless at Villa Park, and the home fans must be feeling a little restless, because in that first period they should have scored, I would say, at least a couple of goals. And we've had 2 goals at Hill Dickinson Stadium because Manchester United equalised. Melvin Malar has got the equaliser there just after the hour mark. And also a goal at Chelsea, where the leaders have taken the lead through Kira Walsh in the London derby against Spurs. Chelsea 1, Tottenham 0. So the goals are coming. And what it means is that we need one here. Feels like a little bit of a stalemate now.
Yeah, I mean, the opportunities were coming thick and fast in the first half. We've not seen that so much in the second half. It's more about kind of 2 teams that are probably matching each other up a little bit.
And Leicester may threaten here. Kane, well read by Lynn Films. She knew the threat was coming from Kane. She had to hold her line.
Yeah, she does really well, Films, there. I think, you know, she's not player of the month for Aston Villa for no reason. I think she's been fantastic since she signed this season. And, you know, not too much danger from Leicester, but when they do have it, she did really well to read the play there. And we can see she's actually got that turn of pace about her as well, which Kane's pace wasn't enough to trouble her in that instance.
Maybe I did tempt fate earlier by mentioning that the corresponding fixture last season ended in a goalless draw. There's some movement on the Leicester bench. Nothing will happen just yet.
Now again, you feel like Leicester are the ones who are kind of probably the more organised out of the 2, and potentially the more in control at the moment. But that doesn't change the fact that Villa can just switch that really, really quickly. So Leicester are going to have to stay switched on.
They're working very hard in the midfield area to try and stifle Villa, and they get possession of the ball. We are about to hit the midway point of the second half. Cairns and Daly exchanging passes. Now Delonde. Patton. Driving forward, finds Grant. Up against Ale. Films. It's a tiny bit short from Lynn Vilms.
Yeah, Leicester doing well again, organised, just trying to ride out the storm from Villa's possession. Villa want not to force it again, like we just see here, right at the last minute. They're doing well to bring it through the thirds, but when we're getting into that final third, it's that lack of communication potentially between the players.
Ebony Salmon's afternoon is coming to an end. Coming on in her place, Georgia Mullet. So an attacker for an attacker.
Yeah, another player that will just offer that that bit of energy, that bit of zip to Aston Villa's play, and obviously that quality when they do get the ball.
Double substitution for Aston Villa. Place number 2,
Sarah Mailing also going off.
And 17, Emily Saban. Please welcome number 3, beg your pardon, number 18, Georgia Mullet, and 20, Kirsty
Miller threatening there with Cairns.
Georgia Mullet and 20, Kirsty Hansen.
Yeah, Grant does well there to find Cairns on the edge of the box, but again, can't trouble the goalkeeper, Janina Leitzig in goal. I think Ebony Salmon, as you say, going off there, will be disappointed with not being able to finish one of those chances that we saw in the first half. Again, good build-up play like we talked about there. Grant just finding Cairns on the edge of the box. Strikes out of her feet, but drags it wide on that occasion.
This time it's Leicester who come forward. Oh, and Kane nearly got the wrong, or the right side in her case, of Wilms. I think Wilms got a bit fortunate there. The other player coming on, Kirsty Hansen, scored in that win over West Ham last week. Wasn't fit enough to start, but she's going to play, what, 20, 25 minutes or so. And will provide another attacking threat from an Aston Villa point of view. Not that they've been that attacking in the second half, certainly nowhere near as attacking as they were in the first. But here is Mullet, also on as a sub.
Yeah, Mullet did really well there to find space in behind the Leicester back line, which in my opinion in the first picture that we saw wasn't actually there. I think she created that space for herself really well. Leicester just trying to be really close and compact and narrow those spaces in behind.
Cayman.
But when they do have the ball, Leicester, as you say, they'll potentially play long, and they've got to do it with quality because they didn't have an outlet at that point.
Feels like it's expanding in terms of the spaces, and the defence. Leicester's defence is sitting a little deeper in the second half, so they're not going to get caught on the break as much.
Yeah, exactly. It's obviously been highlighted in the first half as an issue, too much space behind the back line and causing problems for the goalkeeper to make decisions. Do I come, do I go? But she brings her start position a little bit higher and allows her back line to do so as well.
There's been a goal in the London derby between London City Lionesses and West Ham. It's London City 1, West Ham 0. So this is the only game without a goal in the 12 o'clock kickoffs. Leicester coming forward, Rantala to Kane, this is good, played back in. Oh, it was heading towards Rantala, and it needed the intervention of Lucia Kendall.
That's a great link up in here in the middle from Kane and Rantala. She does really well to play it off one touch, link back up with Kane. Obviously finding O'Brien out on this right-hand side, but well defended by Aston Villa in the end.
Kosovari Asliani is the goal scorer, by the way, for London City in that game against the Hammers. Has been fiercely driven in, trying to cause chaos in the Aston Villa defence. Payne. Cayman makes sure that Villa can't get away on the counter. Thibault wins the corner. It's getting more and more frustrating for Aston Villa.
Is, and Cayman does really well here. She obviously starts a little bit higher, stops Aston Villa from obviously countering and playing forward, and then getting Julie Thibault in a good position to win a team a corner.
Well, you wouldn't have anticipated that Leicester would be looking like the more likely team to score at this stage of the game if you'd asked that in the first half. It's flicked to the edge of the area. Cayman looking for a birthday goal. Kept alive. Kane. That's a teasing delivery, which D'Angelo, in the end, probably felt she could get, but it seemed to rise as it got closer.
It rose and then it just kind of tipped away from her a little bit, so she obviously felt not confident enough to catch it. But Leicester just turning the screw a little bit and adding that pressure now, and just say it's kind of roles reversed compared to that first half. Comes out to Cayman right on the edge of the box, but she can't direct the strike goalwards, and I think she'll be disappointed with not connecting with that as well as maybe she would have liked. Again, Kane with the delivery back across goal does really, really well. Putting the pressure on D'Angelo. It's a fantastic delivery. Causes all sorts of problems in there for defenders.
Rosella Ayan, Leicester's number 32, is coming on to replace Shannon O'Brien. Ayan very much a winger. Spent 6 years at Tottenham before joining Leicester this summer.
Yeah, but like we said before, these are not substitutes that tell you that Leicester are looking to ride out this game. These are attacking-minded substitutes that are telling us that Leicester feel like they can actually go on to win this thing.
Manchester United have turned it around on Merseyside. It's now Everton 1, Manchester United 2. They're trailed in that game. Kitagawa's got the second goal for United. An own goal. Hansen gets the run of the ball and then delivers a really good cross, and Mullet should have scored for Villa. That is the clearest chance they've had in the entire game, and it's fallen to one of the substitutes.
Yeah, you just feel Aston Villa, when they do get the ball, especially down this left-hand side from Kirsty Hansen, they can cause problems. She looks it really early, gets the cross into the box, and it's Mullet with the header, but should do better. Directs it over the bar, and she's unmarked in the box with nobody anywhere near her. I shall be disappointed not to have put that away.
The two substitutes combining, but still Villa cannot find a way through.
Yeah,
You've played under him, what will he be thinking?
I think if you'd have said to me before the game 0-0, would you take a point? I think yes, but I think the way the game is going and how they've been playing Leicester in the second half, I think he's thinking they can go on and get a goal here.
He's been very attack-minded with his substitutes. Here's one of them, Ayan, with the bright orange boots.
They just have to ensure that they stay switched on at the back. They've done so well up until Leicester up until this point, especially in this second half. Ayan just leaving a little bit in there on Thomas.
Ayan into midfield, but too close to Grant. Villa still pose that threat on the break, and they're trying to do so now. Grant, Daly charges down the middle to give them an extra option in the attack. The momentum is lost.
Yeah, they almost take too long, Aston Villa again. They had acres of space down its right-hand side, but they've slowed the play down, and again, look how organised Leicester look, and back in numbers again.
Films. Stray from Mullet. So 0-0 here. Chelsea lead Spurs by 1-0. Manchester United are now 2-1 up at Everton, and London City Lionesses lead West Ham in the other London derby. Rantala. Tierney. Now Ayan, the Morocco international.
And that's not what they want to be doing, Leicester, when they're in good possession. It's sloppy passes to give the ball away. and an unforced error.
There are 3 points there for the taking if someone wants to apply the finishing touch, but there's just over 10 minutes left of normal time to do so.
And again, it was good defending out on this left-hand side from Ale. Does really well to apply the pressure on. They're just really trying to condense the spaces down.
Noémie Mouchon is readying herself. Scored the late equaliser against Everton. Could be the match winner today as we have our first yellow card
86-2486
of the game.
As always, we thank you for supporting it today. Thank you.
Yeah, Tierney's just left her foot in late on Daly there. When she's got players and defenders around her in numbers, I'm not sure that was necessary, especially now given a free kick on the edge of the box for Aston Villa.
So before they can get Mouchon, Leicester have to defend this free kick from Villa. Willems. Leicester a little heavy with the clearance, but the flag found a Villa player in an offside position.
It's obviously a free kick that they've tried to work on instead of just delivering into the box and playing it round the corner, but I'm not sure it was on that occasion.
So a bit of encouragement from the head coach, but she's going to have to be patient. Now Leicester can make the change. And it's going to be Hannah Kane who's going to come off. Worked very hard up front today.
Substitution for Leicester City, replaced number 21, Hannah Kane, will be number 9, Noémie Mouchon.
So the 22-year-old Noémie Mouchon comes on, having missed most of last season with an ACL injury.
Yeah, she'll be looking to impose herself on the game fairly quickly, as she did last week against Everton, getting the important goal for the point.
Tries to get herself involved straight away, but Hansen has come away with it for Villa. Delivers another decent cross, which is away by the Leicester City defence. Grant keeps it alive. Willems. Villa have perked up in the last few minutes. Delande. Thumped away by Thibault. One Frenchwoman clearing from another.
Yeah, again, Leicester City just riding the wave from Aston Villa. You know, when they do come, we said before, they can really be dangerous when they counter and they get that little bit of possession around the box, but Leicester get back and get themselves organised and, you know, defend for their lives at times a little bit.
Grant steps inside of Ale. Oh, that's a nice ball. Mullet, Daly, square of her. Good defending by Leicester. Enough bodies just getting in the way, really, more than anything else. Just putting Daly off.
Yeah, they just couldn't quite capitalise on that again, Aston Villa. You see Grant here, Mullet pointing for exactly where she wants it, in and behind the Leicester City defence, gets the ball across the area, but Leicester doing really well again defensively. They're reading the play, they're defending for their lives. And again, still 0-0. They'd be really pleased the fact they're still keeping a clean sheet.
Cayman. One captain beats the other. Ale. Mouchon immediately tries to get beyond Wilms and does so. Ayan is in there. Back to Mouchon again. Villa not clearing their lines here. Has come back off Mouchon for a goal kick.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate there, Mouchon, but I think just showing us little sparks of what she's capable there with Mouchon there. She changes her pace, tries to get the cross across the ball, but again, gets back on it, and she's dangerous. She's proven a little bit of a bright spark already for Leicester, and Villa will be wanting to keep the ball away from here, especially in these last 5-10 minutes.
As you said earlier, in the first half, he might have been content with a point. Now he'll feel they can win this game.
Yeah, it's definitely shifted. You know, if Villa were to score obviously late on, I think Leicester would feel really aggrieved given how well they've defended throughout the game, especially in this second half.
Both these teams have struggled for goals so far. Villa have only scored 4 times in the league, Leicester 3.
But also Leicester a team that, Aston Villa a team that don't concede many goals as well. Like you say, they've conceded only 4 in the last 4 games as well. So Leicester have got a job on their hands if they are going to put the ball in the back of the net as well.
Kendall. Hansen. Not enough on it to reach Thomas, but Thomas has been given the ball by Payne. It's all rather cluttered in there. Here is Thomas. No one able to provide the ideal pass.
There wasn't, but again, Leicester do so well. It's not 1, not 2, but 3 defenders all around the ball when Aston Villa do get in really dangerous areas. And, you know, that's something that Rick Passmore imparted onto me as a defender when I was playing, and you know, the organisation, and to be, you know, compact and cute with the way you defend.
Collected by Rantala to Mouchon. It's a heavy touch.
Yeah, the space just opened up for her there as well, but the touch let her down.
Leicester with Mouchon looking for Rantala. Safety first from Anna Patton.
They're going to try and stay switched on here, Aston Villa, for the Leicester corner. You can see Anna Patton just trying to organise her team, but again looking a little bit frustrated in that back line.
Driven in. It's a good delivery. Oh, it's gone all the way through. No one in a blue shirt made contact. Had they done so, that would have been problematic. Rantala with a delivery.
Yeah, it was a dangerous delivery in from Rantala. Flashes across, right across all the players in the edge of the 6-yard box. I think it's Thibault who can't quite connect with it.
Manchester United have secured the points away to Everton. Jess Park has got their 3rd goal, having trailed 1-0 at half-time. Everton 1, Manchester United 3. Elsewhere, Chelsea still lead Tottenham by the only goal, as do London City Lionesses against West Ham. Anyone here going to win the match? Here's Mouchon. Could it be her? That's a brilliant tackle on the edge of the area from Aston Villa. He'll now turn defence into attack. Daly. Hansen trying to hold her line. Daly threads it through, or at least that was the intention. Still, it'll come to Rachel Daly. And just no way of getting a shot away.
Yeah, again, really good defending from Leicester. Aston Villa so dangerous, and they can be so dangerous on the counter-attack, and it was Rachel Daly at that time they were trying to stifle, but comfortable in the end for the Leipzig in goal.
Who's your player of the match, Fern?
Yeah, for me, I've gone for Janina Leipzig today in this Leicester goal. I think she's kept them in the game, essentially, for those huge 3 chances in the first half. And earned her side a valuable point at the moment, potentially more.
Confirmation. Janina Leipzig, Barclays player of the match.
Yeah, and potentially the whole of the back line, to be honest, in the way they've played, Leicester, but obviously can't pick all of the defenders. But I think for Janina in goal, I think she's done really well when called upon.
They've still got work to do, though. Mullet looking for Hansen, and there's Leipzig, right on cue. Right on cue.
She's just a presence in the goal, and I think, again, like I said before, she imparts that confidence on the rest of her side. You can see here she's encouraging them to go forward, and they can play in that security that they know she's behind her, and came and shepherding the ball there right into Leipzig's hand. It's good communication from her in her back line.
Like you say, the back line has done a really good job, marshalled by Janice Cayman. At the other end, Rantala. No one seems to have their shooting boots on today.
There'll be a minimum
Not from either side, it doesn't seem so.
Minimum 6 minutes.
But again, the chance is still coming from either side. I know 6 minutes added on, there's still time for a goal from either of these teams.
Desperately trying to get into their opponent's third in front of goal to get those opportunities. 5.5 minutes for someone to be the hero.
Ale as well, I think, has done exceptionally well out on this left-hand side, obviously stifling Chastity Grant at times. Obviously a big player for Aston Villa, and she's done well to marshal her throughout the game.
Patton pokes the ball forward. Grant away. Mouchon can't keep it. Kendall literally taken off her toes by Cairns. Thomas. A bit too heavy, the pass to Mullet. It's been kept in by Grant. Mullet gets the better of Ale. It's like a pinball inside that penalty area. Eventually Kendall's shot is blocked by a Leicester player, and they've done what they've done the entire afternoon, got bodies in the way.
Yeah, they have. I'm not sure they'll be too happy with the way those clearances went, though. It's one of the times where you really want to get hold of the ball and get a foot through it, so it's away from goal. They're not quite the quality there. Kendall getting the strike off against Heaney, blocking the ball. Corner for Aston Villa now, right obviously in the last 4 minutes of the game.
Villa now with this set piece, but they haven't really tested out Leipzig.
No, they don't do well enough to test Leipzig in the goal there. The goalkeeper of her quality, comes and commands her area, and she'll take down all day long.
Manchester United adding to their goal difference with another goal away at Everton, and it's Jess Park again. 2 goals in 5 minutes for the former Manchester City player. Means United, for the time being at least, will climb to second in the table behind Chelsea. Villa coming forward, looking to climb into the top half. Hansen scored last week. Can't provide the cross for anyone else this week.
I think in the first instance there, Cayman's done well to recover from her original pass to Aston Villa and the slip as well, but she does well. Shepherd's Kirsty Hansen away from goal, gets the strike off, but again straight into the path for Janina Leipzig.
Leicester having to defend now in added time. Can they keep Villa at bay? It's a good cross in from Wilms. Villa through Kendall, try to keep it alive, no foul. Ale. Leicester certainly not looking to try and hold on to a point.
They're not, but you just feel like they need to alleviate some pressure. It's been all Villa, obviously, this last couple of minutes.
Is that a foul on Cairns by Cayman? Cairns thought so.
She did think so, didn't she, Cairns? She was claiming the foul. I think Cayman comes across, gets her body across, and then a collision. Arguments for a foul probably justified by Cairns.
Plenty of experience there, used by Janice Cayman. 2 minutes left of added time.
Yeah, Cayman using her experience well, and also her versatility as well. Potentially we're used to seeing her a little bit higher up the pitch, even not wide. But today she's been tasked with playing in the centre of the park and has done really well.
Not cleared very well by Villa. Here's Mouchon. Rantala in support. Rantala going for the near post. D'Angelo had it covered.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the shot was on here from Rantala. The space got narrow. Mouchon does really well to find the space and find Rantala out on this left-hand side. But a first touch for Rantala just drags her away from goal, and the shot's probably not on.
"90 seconds or so as Films tries to find Grant, and then Ale plays it through. Here's Rosella Ayan, Rantala down the middle. Ayan didn't make enough of it.
Yeah, I think her first touch takes her inside into the danger there, Ayan, but she had quite a lot of space to go around the outside of the defenders.
Still, with a minute left, both these teams want to win this game. Villa go route one. Offside, though, and that will just eat away at some precious seconds. Thibault. Away by Patton. Kendall then sends it forward again. No foul. Look at Villa here. They've got numbers up, but once more, they can't find the pass. And now Leicester have got about 10 seconds to get into the Aston Villa penalty area. Mouchon. Ale. Ayan. In it goes. It's not the best of deliveries. We've had the 6 minutes. And the referee has blown to end this game.